guess we should wait until 1:40 now. Perfect timing. Come on in. Welcome to Co-17A. And what's your name? Andrea, nice to meet you. I'm James. And I guess we'll get going here. We're gonna talk about like the class logistics stuff. It's really not that much, but I feel like I'm compelled to say all the things. So I will try to keep the logistics part brief so we can get into the math part. Before we get going, really, let's see, I'm just saying things. A few things I wanted to ask or say. First of all, my name is James. You are welcome to call me James, but if it's not comfortable, I totally understand. You can call me really anything that works. Mr. Parmenter, if you want to say all that. Mr. P, which people have called me in the past, which I don't love, but it's fine. You can call me teacher, professor, even though I'm not a professor. It's fine. I'll like professor. Whatever works for you. Mr. James, also not my favorite, but if people seem to like that for some reason, so that's totally fine. Really, I like being called James. I think it's a perfectly good name. So call me that if you can, otherwise whatever works. I was gonna ask, actually I wasn't gonna ask because you're all in the same class. You might be in different, I think there's like 2 different times it meets, but you're all having the same teacher. This is, I can never say her last name. Temur Galavia, I think, is a close approximation of what it might be. Welcome, come on in. Anywhere? I was just telling everyone that my name was James, and I've gotten to ask everyone's names. We have, oh my gosh, Kira and Stephanie, Dana and Lila and Andrea. And what's your name? Lily. And what's your name? She. Cool. All right. I'm gonna try and remember them. We'll see how it goes on Thursday. That'll be the real test. So I remember things on Thursday. Let's see. So 17A, doing calculus. You all have Dr. Temur Galavia. Is it, how did she say it in class? No. Then what does she like to be called? She didn't say. Okay, she's like, don't talk to me. No, I don't know. Her first name was like Zanerka or something. I have no idea. Like I've seen it spelled many times. I have no idea how to say it correctly, so I'm just guessing here. Let's see. She taught something a couple quarters ago, I think, or maybe it was last quarter. I don't know. I feel like anyway. I need to get added to her Canvas. Hopefully she will make that happen soon-ish. So I guess before we get going here, I wanted to ask you all, you had class yesterday, I assume. And did she go over any math at all, or was it more introductory? Did she do any introduction at all? Like, did she talk about like how class is going to work, homework, that kind of stuff? Okay. What's the homework deal? Like, is homework due? Is it not due? Due? Is it web work? Okay. All right. I feel like last quarter she assigned some pretty heinous homework problems. So we'll have to look out for that. Is it weekly, bi-weekly, weekly? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. All right, okay. That said, I would encourage you all to do all of it, of course, because she's assigning it. Oh, I might actually, I say that, but I might take it back because again, I remember last quarter, a lot of her problems were like super, like just lots of writing and typing it in was like, I was like, oh, that seems really hard. I remind you all about the copy paste features of your computers. You might want to do this homework like on a computer versus a tablet because you might actually be having to type a fair amount of things. So I would just say you might want access to a real keyboard, not what's on your tablet, just because it might be easier for you. But that's just awesome. Yeah, but definitely being able to copy paste is useful because like some of those derivatives you have like the same piece showing up again and again and again and typing it out every time. So we'll talk about that more later. I guess so. What kind of mathy stuff did she talk about in class yesterday? Domain. Okay. All right. Cool. Domain's good. We can talk about domain. Welcome. Come on in. Co-17A. I'm James. What's your name? Lily. So we got 2 Lilies. So Lily and Lily. All right. And I'm gonna say the names like 10 times today so I remember them. Andrea, Dana, Lila. Got me. Lila, Lily, and Lily. I'm Shiri with an R.
Yeah.
Okay, Shiri and Stephanie. And of course, oh man, Kira, right?
Kyra.
Kyra.
Yes.
Okay. You can also, if you don't want to speak, you can also give me like a thumbs up or a yes or whatever in the chat. It's totally fine. Kyra. Like the Greek letter chi. Okay. Okay, domain. So I'm just trying to like, it's hard when I don't have access to her. She hasn't added me to it just yet, which is mildly annoying, but it's the beginning of the quarter. So I don't exactly know what she's doing in class. In the beginning of 17A is always kind of, people do really kind of go in different directions. Some people talk about like sequences in the beginning, some people do it like way later in the quarter. Since she's the only professor, I really kind of wanted what she would do. So I will probably be asking you all a lot until I have access, or even after. I'll be like, what happened in class today? We meet twice. So I guess we should, I think that's all I really have. I'm just gonna talk and talk and talk, and you will probably get tired of hearing me talk. Sorry. Any questions for me before I go through this stuff here? Fine. I'm a UC Davis graduate of many, many years ago. I took a different master's here, but I majored in that at UC Davis. So I definitely am familiar with the quarter system. I know it moves fast and then we have to stay on top of things. I'm gonna trip on this, even though I'm not to. Let's go through the stuff on Canvas here, and then we will, if you have other questions, you're welcome to ask them. So there's, in my opinion, on our Canvas page for this class, there's really kind of two sections. There's the syllabus, which has all the information I'm kind of supposed to make sure is on there. You probably will never look at it again, except maybe just be like, where is James right now? So I can go get help from him if you want to. And the more important part, which is the modules, which has like all the class information, the recordings, the lecture notes, anything I think might be useful. That's where that's going to go. So that'll eventually, probably at the end of this week, that'll be the home page. But currently, if you click on the home page, it'll take you right back to the syllabus. But later on, I'll change that so it's the modules. So let's go through this relatively briefly. I'm the instructor. Here's a link to the Zoom if you want to. Oh yeah, I should say you always can come via Zoom. I certainly recommend, encourage, would like to see you in person because I think it's a more conducive way to learn. Maybe not better, but I like seeing you. They're definitely more natural for me to teach to an audience of people as opposed to a more empty classroom. So please come. I like seeing you. That way I can learn your names better. Here are ways to reach me. Email. You can make an appointment to see me individually on Calendly, although my availability is fairly limited this quarter. I think I only have appointments every day at 3:40 to 4:10. So if that's a time that works for you, you want individual help, I'm available then. But you can also find me in office hours in various times and places across campus, either in C class or CADS or drop-in. So those are described where they are here. They're also places you can look up. What else here about this class? Yeah, that's just kind of like, you want more resources, you need help. If I'm doing something that you think is terrible, let me know. I try not to be terrible. I don't think I'm terrible, but if there's something I'm doing and I'm not aware of it, let me know. I don't mean to be ever terrible. Here's when our class is. No, because you're here. What else? Yeah, I'm going to do examples. I might have you guys work on problems occasionally because it's a good way to learn things by doing them. It's kind of evolved over the last few years because as we've become more of a hybrid situation here, there's less of kind of, I feel like me having everyone do problems because I feel like later on when people are watching it, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're just gonna sit and do. So, but I'm trying to reintroduce that more because I feel like it's good for everyone. So I will try to have that happen, but we'll see. Zoom instructions. I feel like I probably don't need this part of the syllabus anymore. I think everyone knows how to use Zoom at this point. So there. Oh yeah, the important part, the actual important part, how you pass this class. So some of you registered for this class via schedule builder, and you are signed up for one workload unit of credit. And that's great. To pass this class, you just have to come 75% of the time, which amounts to, I think, missing like 5 classes at most, because there's 20 classes total, 75% of 20 is 15. So anyway, come, and then to actually record that you have come, fill out the attendance form, which you will do by scanning this QR code right here. So you can, if you haven't done it already yet, you're certainly welcome to do it right now on your phone, or later in the day, whenever you want to. But you need to do that so that I can get your attendance and then keep up to date. Even if you're not registered for the class, like you signed up on the Google form by going to the AATC webpage, I still need you to fill out the attendance form because we keep track of everyone's attendance to justify funding for services we provide. So please do, whether you're registered for the class or just signed up to be on the Canvas, please fill out the attendance form every time. I'll probably say it like 5 more times, and then I won't say it. Well, I'll probably say it like every class. So please, whenever you attend, and we'll talk about attendance in a second, fill out the attendance form. And you can attend in one of 3 lovely ways. You can either come in person like you are right now. You can come virtually like Ira is right now, or you can watch the video later and then fill out the attendance form then. When you do that, so if you've already filled it out, you will have noticed there's a few things you have to enter, like your student ID number and your name, just as you would write it, like your first name, then your last name, no comment in between, and the date that you're attending class for. So if you're watching this video later, like say on Friday, the date you still need to put in is April 4th, because that's the class day you're attending for. It just makes it easier for me later on when I'm actually trying to fill out. Because what I'm also going to do is, for those of you that are registered, or getting a unit for the class, I'm going to keep track of your attendance on Canvas so that you can see where your attendance grade is at, just so you don't have to be worried about have I attended enough times, I self-perform. Because I always get questions during the quarter like, how am I doing? Like, am I going to pass this class? I'm like, yeah. So that way everyone can just know, everyone who's registered can know. If you're not registered, although I want you to fill out the attendance form, your attendance actually doesn't matter. So you don't need to worry about have you attended enough classes or not if you're not registered for the class. So don't sweat it. If you just sign for the fill out the Google form to sign for the class, you don't need to worry about attendance at all. Just please still fill out the form. I know it's kind of like a mixed message there. Your attendance doesn't matter at all. Please still fill out the form. So that's the truth of the matter. Let's see what else. Pass no pass class. You get 1 unit of work. Oh, sorry, Dana. Sure. Right. Only if it was in a way that wasn't like you weren't meeting your minimum progress requirement. So like you were like, so that what I was just about to say, the 1 workload unit doesn't count towards graduation, but it does count towards meeting the minimum progress requirement and towards financial aid requirements. So if this is like the 1 unit you need to have your 12, is it 12 or 13 units? Okay, to have your 12 units a quarter, that I feel like it's like 13 average for like, I think it's 12 a quarter. I really don't know because it's been a while. I feel like, so I'm going to take that back. I'm going to look it up later. So right, to meet your 12 unit minimum unit requirement, if this was the 12th unit and you didn't pass this class, it could be an issue. That said, if you're ever in that, situation, if there's some sort of academic issue at the end of the quarter and you didn't pass the class and you're like subject to, I forget what the words are exactly, reach out to someone, because definitely like when that happens, we really want students to contact someone so that we can talk to them and make sure that they have a plan for the next quarter. It's not that you're going to get anything when that happens the first time. It's just that the university wants to make contact with you to make sure that we can get you on a path that's going to kind of correct that essentially. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone if you feel like things are maybe not going as ideally as you'd like. But yeah, thank you for the questions. That's important to know. So yeah, this certainly not passing this class wouldn't affect your GPA. It would just affect the number of units that you pass. What else here? So yeah, so like I was saying, 1 workload unit, each unit, yes. And then there's the math stuff, just that we're going to do math. And then where can you get more help? There's lots of places to get help. I always refer students to Grant's website. It's a good source of practice problems and other information. Grant, myself, and Sarah all have videos about 17A already on YouTube. So if you're looking for more resources, those are all good resources. There's also just the AATC website where you can go to find stuff where you get help. There is, of course, drop-in tutoring. I think it's Monday through Thursday from 10 to, let's find out. Oh, it says 10 to 5 here. I feel like, I just found a mistake on my page here. I'm gonna have to fix this later. These are not the correct hours to drop in tutoring here. The correct hours, let's go find out. That's not the right one. I just want the regular one. I guess math is fine. For math drop, 11 to 5. Okay. So Monday through Thursday, 11 to 5, and Sunday 3 to 7 down in the lower level Shields library is when it's dropping. There's also, but outside of those hours, I'm in C class from 9 to 10. Let's see, let's take a look. Go back. Where am I available? Let's actually go look and see. On Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 to noon. Okay, but from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10:30, I am available in C class. Interesting. And I'll be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 12 in dropping, even though dropping doesn't open until 11. I guess I'll be there early. I'll be fine. Maybe I'll change that. We'll see. And last quarter there, I started opening at 10, so I figured 10:30 was a safe choice. I guess that was wrong. Oh well, that happens. So that's all kind of like the stuff you should know about the class that you probably don't really need to know, other than fill out the attendance form. That's kind of the one thing I really need you to do. Other than that, all the other stuff on here is like, you can go look at it sometime if you need to find something, but you probably don't need to look at it that much. And then, of course, we have the actually useful stuff. And I guess I should change to the student view so you can see what you're actually going to see. This survey that's here that you can't see right now, if you go look, is not available yet, but it will be at the end of the quarter. Please fill it out when it's available. It's just about how the class went. So here's the student view. So at the top of the modules, we have the link to the attendance form, which you all just filled out. I do recommend just bookmarking it so you don't have to like scan the QR code every time or find it every time. You're gonna fill it out like 20 times this quarter, so you might as well bookmark it. A link to the Zoom. Here is a link that just has my office hours on it, so you can see them again. My YouTube playlist, the class notes on Google Drive. They're also going to be on Canvas, but if you want to find them there, there's like 3 different ways to do the same thing, just because I feel like people like to do things different ways. Co-17A website, we can take a look at that real quick. Oh, can we? Let's say you change the link. I'm gonna have to fix that too. But you can click on it there. I wonder what, oh, I see. I see what it did. Okay. I will fix that link. Remember, I don't know, let's do it later. Let me see if this link works now. So here's some old video lessons that we made for students. They're not on YouTube. There's lots of resources. I guess is the big message here. There's Sarah. My website, which is not particularly useful, but does have a picture of that and the classes I teach in my office hours and appointments. But like, there's not a lot on there because all on Canvas. I'm like, a website. Sure. Then, oh, here is actually something that I do think is useful, which I just put up there, which is I imagine, because most people cover it when they teach 17A, is log, and semi-log plotting. And so here is how to do it using Google Sheets, a video of how to do it using Google Sheets and using Desmos. We're certainly going to cover it in class, but if you need a refresher, you want to go look at it again, feel like I've laid it out fairly well in those videos, but we'll certainly talk about it. And then again, the link to the playlist and the Google Notes, and then here's where handouts and prep materials will be. So right here is where I will post also the class recordings and the class notes every day we have class. I think that's all I have to say about Canvas, really. Let me ask you all, is there anything else? Are there any questions about anything I've said?